Jeremy Roenick, one of the most electrifying figures to ever lace up skates in the NHL, is facing a moment so heartbreaking that fans across North America can hardly believe it. Once the life of every locker room and the voice of passion on every broadcast, Roenick's story has taken a tragic turn that no one saw coming. You can feel the collective shock ripple through the hockey world. The man who played with fire, swagger, and emotion now finds himself at the center of a storm filled with sadness, regret, and reflection. The player who never backed down from a hit, on or off the ice, seems to be battling something far tougher than any opponent he ever faced in his playing days. Please like, share, and subscribe for more NHL content. For years, Jeremy Roenick was more than just a player, he was a symbol of old-school grit mixed with modern charisma. He scored goals, threw hits, and spoke his mind without hesitation. Fans loved him, teammates respected him, and even rivals couldn't deny the energy he brought to the game. But behind that fiery smile and confident swagger, there was always something deeper, a man who carried both triumph and pain with equal intensity. Roenick's career began with promise and speed. Drafted 8th overall by the Chicago Blackhawks, he instantly became a fan favorite. The crowd roared every time he hit the ice, and his highlight reel goals made him a superstar. But even in his prime, whispers began, about pressure, expectations, and the toll of being hockey's tough guy, both mentally and physically. Years later, when the bright lights dimmed and the cameras turned off, reality hit hard. The man who once had thousands chanting his name was suddenly alone, fighting battles that fame could no longer mask. He tried to reinvent himself as a TV analyst, bringing his fiery honesty to NBC Sports, but the two came crashing down after a controversial suspension and eventual departure that left fans divided and Roenick reeling. You could feel the heartbreak in every interview afterward. The man who once stood at center ice now stood in the shadows of his own legacy. His openness about struggles, financial, emotional, and personal, made fans realize something powerful: even heroes can fall. Even legends can hurt. And that's what makes Roenick's story so deeply human. For every fan who cheered his 500th goal, there's now a fan praying for his peace of mind. The same man who once made us laugh with bold quotes now brings tears with his honesty about how much he's lost and how hard life has become. It's not just about hockey anymore, it's about survival. It's about a man who gave everything to a game that took pieces of him in return. The concussions, the pressure, the criticism, it all added up. Roenick's body may have healed, but his spirit was left bruised long after the final whistle. Friends and teammates have spoken out, expressing their concern and their love. Many of them say Roenick was the guy who always had your back in the locker room, always first to lift the mood when times got tough. But now, they're the ones trying to lift him. Fans, too, have rallied in emotional posts and heartfelt comments, sharing clips of his best goals and funniest interviews. They call him the heartbeat of 90s hockey, a man who gave personality to a sport that often kept emotion hidden. The tragedy isn't just what's happened, it's that we're watching a hero fade before our eyes, fighting invisible battles that no stat sheet can measure. The cheers that once echoed through Chicago, Phoenix, and Philadelphia now sound like distant memories of a golden age. Roenick's candid interviews about mental health and loneliness have opened a new chapter, one that's raw and unfiltered. He's admitted to feeling forgotten, misunderstood, and disconnected from the league he helped shape. And yet, through that pain, there's something profoundly brave about his vulnerability. Because for every moment he's fallen, there's been one where he's fought back. Roenick continues to connect with fans online, share his love for the game, and push for players to speak openly about mental struggles. It's his way of turning tragedy into purpose, a flicker of hope in a story filled with heartbreak. Still, the question lingers in every fan's mind: how did it come to this? How did a man who embodied passion and toughness end up in such a dark place? Was it fame's cruel aftershock, or simply the price of living life at full throttle? Every great athlete faces that haunting silence after retirement, but for Roenick, it came like a tidal wave. Without the roar of the crowd or the next big game to chase, the noise inside became deafening. And yet, amidst all the pain, there's still that same spark, the glint in his eye when he talks about hockey, the laughter that breaks through when he recalls old teammates and rivalries. It's that resilience that fans cling to, hoping he finds peace, hoping the story isn't over yet. Because if there's one thing Jeremy Roenick has proven throughout his life, it's that he never stays down for long. He's the kind of player who takes a hit, shakes it off, and gets right back into the play. Maybe, just maybe, this is another one of those moments. The NHL community continues to rally behind him, sending love and support, reminding him, and all of us, that behind every jersey number is a human being with struggles unseen. And for younger fans just discovering his story, Roenick's life serves as both a warning and an inspiration. Talent can make you a star, but heart and honesty make you unforgettable. So where does his journey go from here? Only time will tell. But one thing's certain, Jeremy Roenick's impact on the NHL and its fans won't fade. His legacy is carved not just in goals, but in emotion, energy, and authenticity. This isn't just a story about hockey. It's a story about life after the spotlight, about loss, and the fragile beauty of human resilience. Jeremy Roenick may be 55 and facing his toughest chapter yet, but the fire that made him a legend still burns. You can see it in his words, his reflections, and the love he still carries for the game that defined him. And as fans, we can only hope that someday soon, he'll find his peace, off the ice, where the real battles are fought. Because this isn't goodbye, it's another period in a game that's far from over. Stay tuned, because the story of Jeremy Roenick isn't done yet. Something tells us the next chapter will be just as unforgettable.